Yes. Well, firstly, I'm delighted to hear that it is the most used product online. I think the reason is that when people go online and are searching for something, they want to go to a place where they can be pretty confident they're going to find out what they're after. And the breadth of the Oxford Textbook of Medicine does mean that it's very, very likely that they will be able to find something that's relevant to whatever their need is. The second thing that people want is to be sure that when they look at something that it is written by an authority and is a high quality piece. And one thing that we've done over the years is to work very hard to try to get really high quality and expert contributors who really are authorities in their field to write for the book and for the website. I think that's a thing which again will attract people. The fact that not only is it very likely they'll be able to find something about whatever they're after, they'll also find it written by somebody who is really good at their subject.
This is a very interesting question that you raise, actually. What is the cause of this disconnect? And on the one hand, we think we've changed a lapidary tome with all the basic tenets of medicine enshrined forever in a textbook into a living, working organism, a living, flexible document, which, as you've heard, is updated and working alongside the changes in practice. The reason for the disconnect, which is the basis of your question, I think, reflects the very rapid changes in learning practices for students and practitioners and young graduates within medicine who prefer online sources, in the journals in particular, with ready access and free access journals, of course, now, articles being available to them. And here to try and match that to the textbook would not be an image that they would necessarily have in their minds. But it is in fact the truth. We have a working document that is flexible, updated and of use, at the same time retaining, we hope, some of its more constant features of value as a kind of dictionary of some of the ancient principles and practice in the humanity and some of the science of medicine.
In terms of the mechanism of keeping things up to date, so what we do is we have a system whereby every 3 months we will select a couple of sections. We write to all the contributors, sending them a copy of their chapter and say, please review this and consider whether any changes need to be made. And by and large we find that contributors are keen to ensure that their articles, their chapters are kept up to date. This means systematically we can ensure that none of the book gets left behind and gets really out of date. The second thing that we have is a facility to introduce what we call key updates, where if there's been some really substantial change in knowledge or treatment relating to a disease at any time, a contributor can submit an update to their chapter, which can then be included in the next round of updates. And by doing this we can ensure that the book does keep genuinely up to date and isn't left fossilised like some dinosaur giving a historical account of medicine as it was some years ago. And that really is very important in a world where people will be expecting otherwise to go to things like Google and Wikipedia, where yes, they'll find stuff that might be up to date, but without the sort of authority in the editorial process that we can introduce with the Oxford Textbook of Medicine. There's no doubt that the number of scientific publications is increasing at a considerable rate sort of year on year. And if the job of the textbook was to try to summarise all of the biomedical publications, I agree this would not be achievable. But in fact the number of these that actually have a direct bearing on significant matters to do with either the biology of disease or the investigation or the treatment of disease are limited. And so we look to our authors. The quality of the book is determined by the authors, to review their fields, and if there are things which are found which do develop, which are significant, then they need to be included. And we have systems whereby every 3 months significant updates can be made, and that's what we intend to keep doing.